The views and opinions of this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. There is substantial risk of loss in trading futures and options, which you should carefully consider prior to trading. And it's time now for another late season agronomic update with our friends at LG Seeds. This time we're going to head to the upper Midwest and get a look at how things are wrapping up in the state of Wisconsin. Joining us now, she is LG Seeds agronomist based in Wisconsin. Samantha Angotti is with us on the show today. Samantha, it's good to talk with you. Hope all is well.
Good to talk with you too, Jesse. I'm happy to be here.
Well, before we dive in and talk about late season crop scouting and things of that nature, can you give folks just an overall update from your territory, how things are looking as we finish out this 2025 growing season there in Wisconsin?
Of course. I would say the season started a little slow this year. We had some pretty cool temperatures. We kind of fell behind on GDUs. We saw some early season moisture coming in, and that definitely pushed back planting. Later through June and July, we caught up on GDUs, and a couple of weeks ago, we were about 200 GDUs ahead. Things are starting to finish out here. Silage harvest has started. Beans are starting to turn. As you go farther north, we're probably a week away from silage yet, so that puts us another month away from grain harvest.
Well, and I know a lot of parts of the Corn Belt and the Midwest have had various disease issues, weed pressure issues, pests, and more this growing season. I mean, everything from southern rust and tar spot to SDS and things like that, and white mold and soybeans. Has there been a major issue or two in Wisconsin that you've seen for folks this growing season?
Yeah, I would say we've had a higher instance of southern rust this year. That could just be based off of weather patterns, though. So southern rust isn't going to overwinter or anything, especially in these northern states. It's all going to blow in. So, as you go farther south, there's definitely been some more southern rust, and we've had some varying weather patterns as well that definitely brought it in, especially in the southwestern part of the state here.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate that update. And I think about this too, as we get ready to harvest and we're wrapping things up here late season. I know it's important for farmers to get out and scout late season and take good notes, because a lot of what we see this year in many instances is going to influence those decisions for 2026. So talk about why keeping good crop scouting notes is going to help farmers improve management and more as they get ready for next year.
Yeah. So even this year alone, it's definitely good to get out in your fields and look and see what's there. With these other diseases coming in, especially that southern rust, and there is a high instance of anthracnose as well, we're going to want to be looking at corn for stock quality issues and making sure that we've got a priority harvest list made. And then going into next year, we're going to want to know what was out there, what affected us, what can we do better, and what can we change. So next year, when we're looking to pick out our hybrids, we're going to want to look at, I saw a higher instance of tar spot or maybe some anthracnose or southern rust or any of those other diseases. We're going to want to look for hybrids with a higher tolerance to some of those things that could be an issue. Or in the case that we saw some corn rootworm, we're going to want to start thinking about traits that we need going into next year.
And I think about 26 and seed selection and that process. There's a lot of different options out there, especially the LG Seeds lineup for producers that, diversifying that product lineup, I think is so crucial. Talk about that for us a little bit.
Correct. I mean, you don't want to go out there and plant just one hybrid across your farm. You want to have multiple hybrids. I mean, I'm not saying everybody's going to have, 2 or 10. It could be 2 or 10 depending on the farm, but you want to make sure you have that genetic diversity, that you're covering all those different soil types with a hybrid that's going to perform the best. Or on an instance where, like this year, we saw a higher disease pressure, we want to make sure we have different tolerances around our farm. That way, one hybrid may be better than the other one, and it will still perform and get us where we need to when it comes to bushels in the bin.
Because I think about this, and I've always been told this, you could be driving down a gravel road and look at one field on the right in your farm and one field on the left in your farm, and even though they're separated by just a roadway, they could be totally different in terms of, nutrient levels, et cetera, et cetera. So it's important to make sure you're putting the right seed on the right piece of ground, isn't it, Samantha?
That is 100% correct.
Anything else you would add for folks? Just tips, anything in general you would tell them as they're harvesting, but then thinking about 2026 and that seed selection and more, what would you leave folks with today?
Make sure you write down the things you liked and the things that you didn't like. What's going to keep you up at night from this year? What can we change going into next year? So when we sit down with our local agronomist and we're talking about what is going to perform the best on our farm, we know exactly what we had issues with this year.
And I know if folks have questions, you mentioned at their local agronomist, or I know lgseeds.com. There's a lot of resources available on the website as well for folks to check out, isn't there, Samantha?
Yes, there is. All of the information for the DSMs and agronomists in the state are listed on lgseeds.com.
We appreciate the conversation. LG Seeds agronomist based in Wisconsin, Samantha Angotti. Thanks for joining us here on Market Talk today. Definitely appreciate the time. Have a safe and happy harvest season. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Make sure to subscribe to the Market Talk YouTube channel. You can watch our latest interviews with top market analysts in the country, find bonus content, and much more. It's easy. Just go to youtube.com/@MarketTalkAg and hit the subscribe button. Or you can search for Market Talk Ag on YouTube.